We have a Kitchenaid dishwasher, model number KUD-SO2FRSSO, and it is filling with water even when it's not in use. So today we're going to try and figure out what the issue is. So I suspect the water inlet valve is the problem. The solenoid is probably shot, so we're going to probably take a look at that and see if we can get a new one. So before we do that, I'm going to turn the water off. It's going to the dishwasher. I'm just going to turn that clockwise. Alright, next we're going to remove the bottom plate. So there's one screw on this side and one on that side. There. Phillips screws. We're just going to remove those two screws and slide the plate out. Once the screws are removed, we should be able to just pull this plate out, and we should have access to our, oh, there's a little flap here. We can just pull that down. Perfect, and we should have access to our water inlet valve right there. Alright, so there's this little hex nut here, so I'm just going to back that out. Then we should be able to slide the inlet valve to the left and down, and then should be able to pull that out. I just used a 1/4 inch hex bit to remove that screw, and then once it's removed, I should be able to slide that to the left, back, and out. There we go. And that's what the water inlet valve looks like right there. Alright, so now we're just going to remove this clamp from this black hose here. So that can be just pinched and slid up the hose, and then we'll remove this black hose here from the plastic valve there. Before I remove the hose, I'm just going to put a towel underneath it just in case there's any residual water that's left in that hose there, and just want to catch as much as I can with the towel. Alright, so we got the clamp backed off a bit, so I'm just going to pull the black hose off of the white plastic nozzle there. Alright, so this is what the solenoid looks like when it's removed. So I'm just going to order a new one of these and wait till it arrives and put the new one in place. Alright, I found the part on Amazon for $31 Canadian. It is WPW 101-583-89, part number, and it does indeed fit my Kitchenaid model KUD-SO2FRSSO. Alright, our new water inlet valve came today, and it looks like it is indeed a match, so it's good. So we're just going to disconnect the wire here and the plumbing here, and we'll hook the new one up. Alright, so to remove this wire here, we're just going to pull this tab back and pull this white piece straight out. So the switch wires have been removed. Next we can remove the plumbing piece here. So you can see that it's just threaded right here at the end on this gold piece. So what we'll just do is use a wrench and just loosen that fitting off right here. Found it easier to remove this nut here. It was easier to remove, and then I was able to put some vice grips on the end there, and then just use a wrench here to loosen the other side up, because we need that elbow for the new piece. Okay, so we got the old elbow removed there, so I'm just going to put some silicone tape on these threads here just to prevent any leaking. So as I mentioned, I just added a little more silicone tape to the end here to make sure that that's sealed off properly when we connect it to the new one. Okay, so our elbow has been reattached, and we'll make sure that's pointing the same direction as those teeth there. And then we can reconnect the hose right here and the electrical, and we're ready to slide her back into place. Alright, so our hose is connected again. We've got the electrical snapped into place. We just got to make sure our black hose is put back onto this nozzle right here, and then we slide the clamp over top, steel clamp over top of that, and we'll put her back into place. So we were able to connect the black hose back on top of the white nozzle there, put the clamp over top, and I'm just going to go slide it into place now, and then we will screw it in place, but we won't close the bottom panel up yet. We'll just make sure that we run a load and that there's no dripping before we replace the bottom panel. All right, so we were able to slide that in place. Just slides to place like that. We're just going to make sure that we have that screw hole lined up there. Right, perfect, right there. And we'll put the screw in again and turn the water back on to make sure we have no leaks. All right, so we're ready to turn the water back on to the dishwasher. Just open up that valve there. Okay, so far it looks good. I don't see any leaks there. We're just gonna run the dishwasher now and see if there's any leaking happening before we cover this bottom panel back up again. If there is a leak, then I probably would add a little more silicone tape. Make sure you have enough silicone tape in those threads there. And otherwise we should be good to go. Dishwasher's running. So far so good. Alright, so we've run a couple loads now and there's no water leaking underneath and more water filling up in the bottom of the dishwasher. So I think we can put the bottom panel back on now and we'll monitor it for another few days and make sure that we have no water filling in the bottom. Alright, so to put the bottom panel back in, first we're just going to put the insulation flap back underneath, tuck it under, like that. This bottom panel is pretty straightforward. We're just going to put the insulation back on top here, line it up, and then we're just going to insert this panel up and underneath and screw the two Phillips screws in the corners.